I really dipped my toes into it is a lovely two-show group called Fight Sports Midwest. It was myself and some friends, including a dude named Mikey Blanton, who currently runs the Black Label Pro promotion out of Crown Point, Indiana, one of the more successful indies currently running. But Mikey calls me up. I was, I think, first semester of college, and he's like, hey, so I got Scott Norton's phone number off of MySpace. I think I'm going to pretend to book him for a show. You want a three-way call this with me? I'm like, sure. He's like, yeah, just I'll put you on mute, whatever. And so he books him for a fake show that was never going to happen. He just wanted to see if he could book a wrestler. And it was super easy, and he pulled the wool over Scott Norton's eyes, for lack of a better term. And Scott Norton's like, hey, you want Raven's phone number? Sure, we'll talk to Raven. Sure. So then Mikey talked to Raven, and he talked to Disco Inferno, and the next thing you know, he had a full card booked for the show that was never going to happen. And Mikey took the responsibility of personally going through and canceling every single person off of this show. Like, he'd even made a MySpace event for it, just to convince them this was going to be real. But he canceled them. But what we came to after that was, wait, we could book wrestlers. It's not that hard. Just call them, and they will say yes. So we pulled together some money, and we booked a show, I think it was St. Patrick's Day 2007 in Portage, Indiana, at the Portage Sportsplex, which is on independentwrestling.tv, streaming there. I don't have a promo code. Screw you, Jerry. You didn't give me one. So just go up and sign for the $9.99 a month anyway. But it's insane what we did, considering we had no idea what we were doing. Like, our main event for our first show was Samoa Joe versus Eddie Kingston.
Jesus.
And King had just broken his ankle too at CZW, and he's like, no, I swear I want the Samoa Joe match. I'm gonna come back early and I'm gonna wrestle, because Joe at the time, I think, he had been X Division champion. He'd had the Ring of Honor title run. I think he was about to beat Kurt Angle for the TNA World title. It was peak TNA Joe. Wow. He was a draw.
Went to the doctor today. Doctor said I should be out 3 months. Maybe come back at the end of March. That's not going to happen. I'm going to be back March 17th, with or without the doctor's permission. With a broken ankle or without a broken ankle. With pins in it or without pins in it. The reason's real simple. I have the honor to be in the ring with a man that it's a name in this sport. It's very hard to be a name in this great sport, and that's you, Samoa Joe. I have an opportunity to A, better myself, and B, prove to the people and to myself that I am that good, that I can stand in the ring with you, Samoa Joe. So on March 17th, well, either healed up or not, I will be there in Chi-Town, baby. Samoa Joe, get ready. Last of a dying breed. You're going to have a fight on your hands, brother, like you never had before. Holla at me.
We were set. We knew everything. We drew a crowd. We are so much smarter than all these promoters out here. We did it the first time. We're awesome. And we had already been booking show 2, 3, 4, because we were with the big indie names. You got to book them out in advance, especially now. But back then, you had to book them well in advance. We had to have dates lined up, and But yeah, we were very young. I was 18. I think Mikey was early 20s. We didn't know enough to know that we should be freaking out. We just figured we did it. All these promoters out here, are drawing 80 people in this area, bringing it other big names, and we did better than them. So, and then show number 2 did about half that crowd with over twice the budget. and it's simple math. We lost a lot of money. Let's see. The main event was Lightning Mike Quackenbush versus Tiger Mask 4 from New Japan in Portage, Indiana. Right? And we Tiger Mask was over on a tour of America because something had happened with the NWA license over there, and they asked him, hey, we need you to drop the belt because Inoki had moved on to the Inoki Genome Federation. New Japan wouldn't be an NWA group anymore. Problem is, nobody had tipped off the other indie groups that he was working that he was supposed to drop the belt, and they all put him against TNA wrestlers who weren't allowed to have the championship. We were the only one that booked him against a non-TNA guy. So we got to do the title switch in a bowling alley / indoor soccer arena in front of 125 people on a Friday night in Portage, Indiana. And he agreed to be unmasked during the match, too. Yeah, just insanity. Which was low-key. Well, they were both on top of the X Division on TNA, Spike TV. Awesome Kong was on the card. The wrestler now known as Seth Rollins wrestled Marty Jannetty on this show.
Nice.
Because, yeah, Marty, who I've told the story before. I'll kind of condense it here. We were going to put him up in a real nice hotel, and it was across the street from a really awful hotel that I had stayed the night at, brown water, roaches, bad. But he had noticed that there was a lady of the evening, so to speak, over there, and he got very interested. And without going into too many specifics, before the credit card could be put down for his hotel room, he's like, I'm gonna go over there instead. And he showed up. He disappeared that whole afternoon, and he shows up right before bell time with this woman who apparently he just gave a bunch of money to for the entire day, and she, on top of her normal services, was also his Polaroid lady at intermission as well.
I have so many questions. I have so many questions. Okay, so he paid this woman to stay with him the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And then she was taking the Polaroids of him with the fans.
Yes.
Was he the biggest draw there?
I don't think so. I think we could have drawn the exact same crowd without him or 8 other people. We just stacked names on top of names on top of names. Joey Mercury was there, and we were his first booking after he got fired from WWE. After the whole ladder thing where his face exploded, and then he showed up to catering in various conditions I won't speculate on here. We were his first indie booking after that, straight off of WWE TV. We had him. Again, we had guys from TNA. It was on Spike TV every, I think, Saturday night at that point. We had the cream of the crop of the indies.
So how did you get in contact with all these guys? Just because of who you had, and then this wrestler tells this wrestler?
Exactly. So it was a little bit of we didn't screw anybody over on pay for the first show. So wrestlers were more like, hey, you should contact or you should contact Mikey, or I was kind of Mikey was the promoter of Name, but Mikey at the time didn't have a computer. So I would be, quote unquote, Mikey in the emails and the MySpace messages going out, and also I was helping with the booking. So it was a lot of recommendations based upon the fact that we didn't screw anybody over for money on the first show, and also, we could be like, hey, so and so we booked. Could you get us so-and-so's email? I know you guys are friends. Yeah, sure, easy. I want to paraphrase something that a friend of mine, Joe Sposto, who I'm sure is listening because he's a dear, dear friend, and I'll send this to him the second it goes up online. He used to do commentary for Chikara under the name Leonard F. Chikarason. And he used to hang around ECW shows when he was younger. And something he has said before that it's always kind of stuck with me. I'll paraphrase it. If I would have known how easy it was to get into wrestling, I would have done it before I did it. Like, as if you're willing to go set up like chairs, you're in. Ta-da! Like, that's the big secret. It's not, and because it's like such like a smoke screen. Like, when you're on the outside, it's like this mysterious pathway. How do you get in? And then once you're in, it's like, that's it.